Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Daily.
Hi, everyone. We are very happy to see you here today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speak English Daily, the place where your English grows a little stronger with every conversation. I'm Anna.
And I'm Mike. And I have to say this right now, I am not okay today.
That sounds serious. What happened?
I barely slept. My upstairs neighbor decided last night was the perfect time to reorganize his entire apartment at midnight. I'm talking dragging furniture, dropping things, maybe building a cable. I don't even know.
Oh no, the late-night construction project.
It felt like he was opening a furniture store above my head. At one point, I just stared at the ceiling and thought, why is this my life?
That's the moment you question everything.
I really did. And then I had this thought, very dramatic, but I was like, I need to disappear. I need silence. I need nature.
That's a strong reaction.
I know, but I meant it. I started imagining a place where the loudest sound is nothing, or maybe wind, or a bird, a calm bird, not an angry one.
Not an angry bird. That's important.
Very important. No neighbors, no noise, just peace. I think I want to live in the countryside.
That's perfect, because today we're talking about life in the countryside.
Wait, really? That's amazing timing.
Sometimes life gives us the topic.
Or my neighbor does.
That too. And today, we're not comparing city life and countryside life. We've done that before. Today, we're going to slow down and really feel what countryside life is like.
I like that. Not just facts, but the feeling.
Yes, what you see, what you hear, what you smell, even what you might struggle with.
That sounds interesting, because I realize something. I talk about the countryside like it's a dream, but I don't actually know what it's like.
That's very honest, and by the end of this episode, you'll have a much clearer picture.
I hope so, because right now my picture is just green. A lot of green.
We'll improve that image, don't worry.
Good. My imagination needs help.
And for everyone listening, if you enjoy learning English through real conversations like this, make sure to subscribe to Speak English Daily and share this episode with someone who is also learning.
Yes, send it to a friend who also has noisy neighbors.
Or someone who dreams about quiet mornings.
That sounds better.
And stay with us, because later I'm going to share something about countryside life that people rarely talk about.
Oh, I think I know what you mean.
Maybe you do.
And if it's what I think it is, I'm not ready.
You'll survive.
I'm not confident about that.
Let's begin with something simple. When we say the countryside, what does that really mean?
Okay, my answer is still green.
I appreciate your honesty, but let's build a clearer definition. The countryside is the area outside of cities. It's far from tall buildings, heavy traffic, and constant noise.
So it's not just a place, it's a different environment.
That's a great way to say it. A different environment, a different pace, a different feeling.
I already feel calmer just hearing that.
Now let's paint a picture together. Imagine standing in a wide open space. No tall buildings around you, just land stretching out in every direction.
That already feels very different from my apartment.
You see fields, big areas of land covered with grass or crops, and sometimes you see something called a meadow.
A meadow. I've heard that word before, but I'm not fully sure what it means.
A meadow is a large field of grass, often with wild flowers growing naturally. You might see yellow flowers, white flowers, maybe purple ones.
That sounds peaceful. Not perfect, but peaceful in a real way.
That's a nice way to describe it. It's not controlled like a garden, it's more natural.
So if I say we walked through a meadow full of flowers, that sounds natural.
Yes, that's a beautiful sentence. I like that image. It feels soft.
Now, in the countryside, you'll also see buildings, but they are very different from city buildings. For example, farmhouses and barns.
Barn. I always imagine something big and wooden, but I'm not sure what it's used for. That image is quite accurate. A barn is a large building on a farm. Farmers use it to keep animals or store things like tools and hay.
So it's like a mix between a storage space and an animal home.
Yes, that's a simple way to understand it.
I like that word, barn. It feels solid.
It does. And often you'll see a red barn next to a farmhouse. It's a very classic countryside image.
I can picture that clearly.
Good. Now let's add another word, orchard.
That one is new for me.
An orchard is a place where fruit trees are grown. For example, apple trees, orange trees, or cherry trees.
So it's not just one tree, it's many trees in one area.
Yes, usually in rows, very organized, but still natural.
So if I walk into an orchard, I'm surrounded by trees full of fruit.
That's right. And in some seasons, people go there to pick fresh fruit.
That sounds like something I would enjoy for about 2 hours.
Only 2 hours?
After that, I'd probably start thinking about snacks.
You're already surrounded by snacks.
Oh, good point. I take that back. I could stay longer.
See, countryside life is already improving your thinking.
Slowly, but yes.
Now let's talk about one more important word, surroundings.
I hear that word often, but I don't always use it.
Your surroundings are everything around you in a place.
So if I say the surroundings were beautiful, I'm talking about what I see around me.
Yes, it's a very natural and useful word.
Let me try. The surroundings were quiet and full of nature.
That's a strong sentence, clear and natural.
I like how that sounds. It feels calm.
And that's the key idea. In the countryside, your surroundings are mostly natural. Trees, hills, sky, fields.
No traffic, no horns, no late-night furniture stores.
Hopefully not.
I'm starting to understand why people choose this life. It's not just about escaping noise, it's about gaining something. Peaceful.
That's a thoughtful way to say it. I didn't expect to feel this interested so quickly.
That's the power of imagining clearly. When you understand the words, the picture becomes real. And now I can actually see it, not just green, but something much richer.
Good. That means you're learning in the right way.
I feel like I've already traveled a little just by listening.
And we're just getting started.
That's exciting.
In the next part, we'll walk through a real day in the countryside, from morning to afternoon, and you'll experience it step by step.
I want that. I want to feel that morning you talked about.
You will.
I'm ready.
You will. So let me take you there. Imagine this. You wake up in the countryside, but not because of an alarm.
Already better than my life.
No phone buzzing, no loud traffic. You wake up slowly because you hear birds outside your window.
That sounds unreal, like peaceful in a way I don't usually experience.
It feels gentle, not sudden, not stressful, just soft sounds pulling you out of sleep.
I think I would just lie there for a minute and listen.
That's what I did when I visited my friend. I didn't jump out of bed. I just stayed there, listening to the birds, feeling the quiet.
No rush. That's the part that feels strange to me.
Yes, there's no pressure to move quickly. The morning has space.
I don't remember the last time my morning had space.
Then you get up, open the window, and the first thing you notice is the air.
The air?
Fresh air. You take a deep breath and it smells clean. Maybe a little bit of grass, maybe flowers, maybe even a bit of earth after rain.
That's very different from what I breathe every day.
What do you usually smell?
Cars, dust, sometimes food from a street stall, which is not bad, but still.
This is different. It feels like your body relaxes just by breathing.
I didn't know air could feel like that.
It really can. And then, instead of sitting inside, you go outside with your coffee.
Outside, like just sitting there?
Yes, no screen, no emails, just sitting, holding a warm cup and looking at the fields.
I think I would feel a little uncomfortable at first.
Why?
Because I'm used to doing something all the time. If I'm just sitting, I start thinking, should I be working?
That's very common, but after a while, you start to enjoy doing nothing.
That sounds like a skill I need to learn.
It is a skill. And while you're sitting there, you might see animals in the distance.
Like pets?
Not pets, farm animals. We call them livestock.
Livestock. I've heard that word, but I never use it.
Livestock means animals that are raised on farms. For example, cows, sheep, and pigs.
So if I say the livestock were in the field, that's correct.
Yes, that's a perfect sentence.
And they're just there, walking around?
Yes, eating grass, moving slowly, sometimes just standing and doing nothing.
That sounds like a very calm life.
It is. And when you watch them, something interesting happens. You slow down too.
I can imagine that. It's hard to rush when everything around you is moving slowly.
That's right. The environment changes your pace.
I like that idea. It feels grounding.
That's a good word. Grounding means it helps you feel calm and connected.
I need more grounding in my life.
Many people do. Now, after a slow and quiet morning, you might decide to go for a walk.
Through the fields?
Yes, walking along small paths, maybe with trees on one side and open land on the other.
No traffic, no noise, just walking.
And as you walk, you might see areas where farmers grow food. These are called crops.
Crops? Those are plants grown for food, right?
Yes, things like wheat, corn, vegetables.
So if I say the farmer is growing crops, that works.
That works very well.
And I guess these crops don't stay there forever.
Good thinking. At a certain time of year, farmers collect them. This is called the harvest.
Harvest. I've heard that word many times, but now it makes more sense.
The harvest usually happens in late summer or autumn. It's when all the hard work pays off.
So you could say the harvest was very good this year.
Yes, that means the farmers collected a lot of food.
I like that. It feels connected to real life, not just vocabulary.
That's the goal. Words should feel real.
And walking through those fields, I think that would feel very different from walking in a city.
It does. In the city, you walk to go somewhere. In the countryside, you walk just to experience the moment.
That's a big difference.
It is. And after your walk, you might go somewhere small but special, a local market.
Like a supermarket?
Not quite. A local market is usually smaller and more personal. Many of the products come directly from nearby farms.
So the food is fresh.
Very fresh. Fruits, vegetables, bread, sometimes even homemade items.
That sounds much better than packaged food.
It feels different too. You talk to the people selling the food. You might even know them.
That's something we don't really have in cities.
Not in the same way. There's more connection.
I think I would enjoy that part a lot.
And as you walk back home in the afternoon, carrying your food, you feel something simple but strong.
What's that?
A sense of calm. Not excitement, not stress, just calm.
That sounds very rare.
It can be, but in the countryside, it's part of daily life.
I'm starting to understand why people fall in love with it.
It's not just about what you see, it's about how you feel while you're there.
And right now, I feel like I've had a small taste of it.
That's a good way to put it.
I didn't expect this to feel so real in my mind.
That means you're connecting with the experience.
I am, and I don't want to rush out of it.
Don't worry, we're going deeper next.
Okay, I'm ready to stay in this world a little longer.
Good. Let's stay there for a moment, but now close your eyes and focus on something different. Not what you see, but what you hear.
I'm listening.
What do you hear?
Honestly, nothing.
And that's the point.
That's such a strange answer.
It is, especially if you're used to city life. In the countryside, there are moments where you hear almost nothing. No cars, no voices, no machines.
That kind of silence, I don't think I experience that often.
It's a deep kind of quiet. You might hear the wind moving through the trees, a soft sound, or maybe a bird in the distance.
Not 10 birds, just one.
Sometimes just one.
That feels almost too quiet.
It can feel that way at first. Your mind isn't used to it.
I think after a few minutes, I would start hearing my own thoughts very clearly.
And how do you feel about that?
Not great. My thoughts are not always friendly.
That's very honest.
I can already imagine it. I'd be sitting there and suddenly thinking, did I forget something? Did I send that email? Why did I say that awkward thing 5 years ago?
The brain loves to bring back old memories at the worst times.
It really does. Silence becomes dangerous.
Or powerful.
That sounds better.
Because once you move past that noise in your mind, something else appears. Calm.
Real calm, not just quiet.
Yes, and there's a word that describes this feeling very well. Tranquil.
Tranquil. I like how that sounds.
It feels soft when you say it.
What does it mean in a simple way?
Tranquil means very calm and peaceful. No disturbance, no stress.
So it's stronger than just quiet.
Yes, much stronger. Quiet is just the absence of sound. Tranquil is a feeling.
Let me try. The countryside was so tranquil, I forgot about my problems.
That's a beautiful sentence.
It feels real when I say it.
That's because it connects to emotion, and language becomes stronger when it connects to how you feel.
I'm starting to notice that.
Now let's add another layer, not just sound, but smell.
Smell is powerful. It can change everything.
It can. In the countryside, the air carries natural smells. After it rains, you might smell wet grass and earth.
That's a very calming smell.
In the evening, you might smell wood smoke if someone has a fire.
That feels warm, like slow evenings.
Yes, and in spring, flowers add a soft, fresh scent to the air.
Compared to the city, that's a completely different experience.
It is. Your senses are more awake, but in a gentle way.
Not overloaded, just aware.
That's a great way to describe it.
I can see why people fall in love with that feeling.
Many people do, but it's important to be honest. This kind of quiet is not comfortable for everyone.
I was just thinking that.
Tell me.
I think if someone is used to noise, people, and constant activity, this level of calm might feel strange.
It can even feel lonely.
Yes, that's the word, lonely.
Because in the countryside, you might not see people all the time. There's more space between homes, more distance.
So instead of feeling peaceful, some people might feel isolated.
That's right. It depends on your personality and what you're used to.
I think I would enjoy it at first, but after a while, I might miss the energy of the city.
That's very normal.
It's interesting how the same place can feel peaceful to one person and uncomfortable to another.
That's the balance of countryside life. It offers calm, but it also asks you to be comfortable with stillness.
And not everyone is ready for that.
Yes, but if you learn to accept it, that stillness can become something very valuable.
I feel like I'm starting to understand it, not just with words, but with feeling.
That's the goal. And I'm curious now, you mentioned earlier there's something people don't talk about.
Yes?
I have a feeling it's going to change everything.
It might surprise you.
That's a good place to be, because now we're going to talk about the part of countryside life that feels very real.
The part that breaks the dream?
Not breaks it, but balances it. Let's start with something simple. Mud.
That doesn't sound serious.
It becomes serious very quickly. After rain, the ground gets soft and wet. When you walk, your shoes sink a little.
That already sounds uncomfortable.
And the mud sticks to your shoes, thick, heavy, and messy.
So you take one step and your shoes are no longer clean.
More like one step and your shoes are no longer the same.
That's painful, especially if they're new.
Or your favorite pair.
I can feel the sadness already.
And it's not just a little dirt. It can cover your shoes completely.
So countryside fashion is mud?
That's one way to describe it.
I didn't imagine that part when I was dreaming about peaceful mornings.
Most people don't. Now let's talk about something else. Bugs.
I knew this was coming.
In the countryside, you're closer to nature, and that means you're closer to insects.
How many are we talking about?
Enough to notice. Flies, mosquitoes, small insects flying around, sometimes coming into the house.
No, I don't like that.
They're part of the environment.
I prefer my environment without flying surprises.
In the city, you might see one insect and react strongly. In the countryside, you learn to live with them.
That's a big adjustment.
It is. But now let's move to something bigger, something that changes daily life in a very real way.
This is the part, right?
Yes, living off the grid.
I've heard that phrase, but I don't fully understand it.
Off the grid means living with many modern services. For example, slow internet or no internet, limited electricity, no food delivery, fewer shops nearby.
No food delivery?
No food delivery.
That's where I struggle.
I knew that would be your reaction.
I can handle mud. I can try to accept bugs, but no food delivery? That feels like a serious problem.
It forces you to plan your day differently.
Or panic.
Some people feel free in that situation. They enjoy being disconnected.
I think I would enjoy it for a short time, maybe a few hours.
And after that?
I would start checking my phone, even if there's no signal.
That's very real.
It shows how dependent we are on technology.
Yes, and the countryside reveals that very clearly.
I'm starting to see that this lifestyle asks you to change, not just relax.
That's a powerful observation. It's not just peaceful, it's challenging in a quiet way. Now, let me tell you a story. I once stayed with my cousin on a farm.
I feel like something dramatic is coming.
Every morning at 5 o'clock, I woke up suddenly.
Why?
A rooster.
The classic countryside alarm.
But this was not a gentle sound. It was loud, sharp, and impossible to ignore.
Like an angry announcement.
Yes, it felt like the rooster was shouting at the world.
And there's no way to stop it.
No button, no control, it just happens.
I would hide under the blanket.
I tried that. It didn't help.
Close the window?
Still loud.
That's intense.
After a few days, my body started waking up before the sound.
So the rooster trained you.
That's one way to look at it.
I'm not sure I'm ready for that level of discipline.
Most people aren't at first.
I used to complain about my phone alarm. Now I feel grateful.
Perspective changes quickly.
It really does.
And there's one more thing. Life in small villages can feel very close.
What do you mean?
People know each other. They talk. They notice things.
That sounds friendly.
It is, but it also means news travels fast.
How fast?
If you go to a shop and buy something unusual, a few people might know about it within hours.
That's impressive.
It creates a strong sense of community, but also less privacy.
So your life becomes a little more visible.
Yes, that's a good word.
I think I would enjoy the connection, but I might miss my personal space.
That's a common feeling.
It's interesting. The countryside gives you peace, but it also takes away some things you're used to.
That balance is what makes it real.
I feel like I've seen both sides now.
And that's important. Not just the dream, but the reality too.
I have a question for everyone listening.
Go ahead.
Could you live 1 week off the grid? No fast internet, no delivery, limited services?
That's a great question.
Be honest with yourself.
And if you want to practice your English, write 1 or 2 sentences about your answer.
I'm curious to see how people respond.
Me too. Now, let's take a moment to review the words we learned today.
Let's do it. I think I need that.
First, the countryside.
The countryside is the area outside cities with nature, farms, and open space.
Very good. Now, meadow.
A meadow is a large field of grass and wildflowers.
Nice. Barn.
A barn is a big building on a farm for animals or storage.
Good. Orchard.
An orchard is a place where many fruit trees grow.
Perfect. Surroundings.
Surroundings are everything around you in a place.
Strong. Now, livestock.
Livestock means farm animals like cows, sheep, and pigs.
Yes. Crops.
Crops are plants grown for food, like wheat or vegetables.
And harvest.
Harvest is when farmers collect those crops.
Very clear. Now, tranquil.
Tranquil means very calm and peaceful, with no stress.
That's a beautiful definition.
I like that word the most.
And finally, off the grid.
Off the grid means being disconnected from modern services like fast internet or delivery.
Well done.
That was a lot, but it feels natural when we say it like this.
That's the idea. Learning through conversation.
I feel more confident using these words now.
That's great to hear.
And to everyone listening, try to use at least one of these words today.
Even a simple sentence is enough.
Like, I want to visit a tranquil place.
That's perfect.
Or, I could not live off the grid.
Also very real.
Before we go, here's one more question for you.
Yes.
Have you ever been to the countryside? What did you notice?
Was it the quiet, the fresh air, the animals, or maybe the mud?
Write your answer in the comments. 1 or 2 sentences is great practice.
We read your comments and we enjoy learning about your experiences.
And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Speak English Daily and share it with someone who is learning English.
Keep listening, keep practicing, and keep exploring new words.
And maybe, one day, I'll be brave enough to try countryside life for real.
I think you will.
Maybe just not tomorrow.